Hello, man. Hello, Mgtows. Pull this over. Hello, man. Hello, Mgtows. Okay, sounds good. Everything sounds great. Everything's going as planned. Let me get this in the right spot. And hello, today we're going to talk about Mgtow. Mgtow discovery. When you first find Mgtow, when you first come into Mgtow, it's like a lot of things in life.
Message is received from 2962.
Like that. Yeah, it's like a lot of Mgtow's like a lot of philosophies, religion, theologies, anything you're going to find in life. A lot of people get really, really excited. He's all on fire with the Mgtow. He's all on fire. We see this in life with reborn again Christians. We see this with any kind of philosophy or theology. I remember the day when back years ago when I was empty, and my friend of mine, an electrician friend of mine, says, "Joe, you got electrician's disease." And I says, "What is electrician's disease?" He says, "You see the world in trues and falls, and you see the world in ands, ors, and knots, and norgates, and stuff like that." He says, "You have to enlarge that." And the problem with you, Joe, is he says, "You got no philosophy. You don't believe in God. You don't believe in anything. You don't believe in you're vacant right now, and I could see the unhappiness in your face." And he gave me a little pamphlet, and he says, "Here, read this." And it was Plato. He says, "Get yourself a philosophy that you can believe in, and because if everything else is wrecked in your life, you got no philosophy, you got nowhere to go." And so I started reading Plato, and then I read all 14 books, and then I read the small series on philosophy, and that was like 22 books, and I was on fire for about a month with reading, and it brought something to my life. It gave life meaning, and that's what happens in here too. It's what happens in Mgtow. Your life is dismal, and you're that ands, ors, and knots person. You're that I follow things to a true, but I have no philosophy in which to believe in. I don't believe in maybe religion, and I don't believe in philosophy. And I got this Mgtow, and this Mgtow fills that void. Mgtow fills that void in your life, and you start filling up them little holes that have been punched in you as a man in this world, in a gynocentric world that just wants to beat you down. With that, a misinterpretation happens with the rest of the world about that. It's the same thing that happens to Christians. It's the same thing that happens to those born again, people, and it's the same thing that happens to everybody. So they come around and they want to preach the word heavily and hard, and it's like they're the first person in the world to realize that Mgtow exists. And they get the spirit. And when you look at this with reborn again Christians, you know how irritating they can be. They could be really irritating, and born again Christians come around and they want to share this with you. And that's what happens with the Mgtow and the Mgtow monk and the Mgtow. It's not a religion. It's not a thing. It's a new philosophy. Mgtow is a new philosophy, and it's exciting. It really is exciting. You realize that the world's not what you thought it was, and there's these little things, these little things that you can do and put in place to avoid risk, and that all starts with a few steps. And it's not unlike people that go to AA. Instead of alcoholism, replace it with simping, and I'm addicted to this drug of women. And hello, Gravy Back Bill. Hello, everybody that's in. You take that addiction in your life, and the addiction is to females. Your addiction is to that bacteria, and it turns on those endorphins in your brain, and you want that excitement. It's not unlike any other drug. And men get addicted to this, and they start simping, and they start white knighting, and they start begging for that. Not unlike crackheads or meth addicts. We're all like that when we're young men, and we take these things we put ourselves into abhorrent positions where we're unable to look at our own fault, what part we played in this thing. That's what step 4 is about. You take the other 3 steps, you come into Mgtow, but step 4 is about, not unlike AA, It is very like you come to believe in a different philosophy. Mgtow's your new philosophy. You come to believe that there's something bigger in the universe, and Mgtow is that thing that's bigger than you. It's bigger than all of us. It's all of us put together. We're the collective of Mgtow. And I hear these guys go on about anti-collectivism, which is just funny because yesterday Stephen Mullinex become a born-again collectivist. All of his years of saying about anti-collectivism, which is bullshit, he become a born-again collectivist yesterday or the day before. So he's just hypocritical right now about all of this stuff. No, we are a collective. We're a collective of Mgtow, and this thing is bigger than us, and it gives us power. It gives us our power back. It gives us everything. But with this program, there are steps that you need to take. You come to believe in it. You do these things. And the fourth step on any 12-step program is I have to deal with the things within me. That's what monk's about. Most people don't never make it the monk stage. They get their three steps, and then they exit this thing. Monk stage says step 4 is a clear and frank understanding of oneself. This process of discovery, the true nature of one's personal nature. A participant learns of all these things, and you are a participant in Mgtow and understands and identifies his own weaknesses that could help in this thing. Your weaknesses contribute to your downfalls and contributes to your personal disease here in Mgtow. Step 4 is about understanding the strength, which comes in understanding yourself. And that's where we say take these introspections in areas that are most personal to yourself. And one of those areas that are most personal to yourself is looking deep down. I see holes, man, all over me. What do I fill these things with? Now I got a new personal philosophy that I can just grab hold of, and I'm excited about that. But step 4 in Mgtow says, take a look at yourself. What part did you play in your downfall? And we know how the world works as Mgtow. I can't blame it on everything else out there. I can't blame it on feminism anymore. I can't blame it on all these girls. I can't blame it as long as I'm blaming everything on everything else. I'm not doing the one thing in Mgtow I need to do for myself is fix this. I need to fix this. I don't care about what the rest of the world's doing. I need to fix this, or else this life is going to suck. So I do the personal introspection in my life. I reach deep down in there and I look at all those little holes in myself and all those little failures. And some of those things are hard to understand. If we're not willing to accept that, it's why I do this. Go your own way, men. You're coming to a new world where all your sins are forgiven. It's why I do this, because we all have those same sins. We all went through this thing. We're simping. Some of these guys are still simping. The purple pill guys are trying to negotiate with that. It doesn't work. That doesn't work. You're never going to negotiate with your character defects and try to work your character defects into this world. Every drug intervention counselor, every therapist knows that unless a person takes personal responsibility, and that's what we talk about. We talk about with the females. They need to take personal responsibility for their lives. I need to become a man above reproach. This is when this ideas that I'm giving you starts congealing into one. I become a man above reproach by taking these personal introspections in my life. That means I take a look at me and I say, am I simping? Yes, I was. I forgive myself. The world forgives me for that. Will I do that again? No, I won't. How am I going to detect those things in myself? It's so easy in a world full of men and women and gender dynamics and all these things to get caught up in all that garbage and then start blaming. And that's what we see. Men in here are blaming other men. He's simping, he's simping, he's simping. When we need to take a look at ourselves, our very nature. And we need to do something about this. Monk mode is about that. Most of these guys will never make it past monk mode because they're going to spend about a year in here. We've seen it with Kuruma. Kuruma blaming it. And blaming the rest of the world is cathartic. And that res pu rage is cathartic. But unless you come to the realization that that I'm a monk now, I'm a Mgtow, I'm of this order, this collective order of Mgtow, and I have to live in this place because this is my new philosophy. Unless you come to that reasonable request by us, and you take step 4, and you have a clear understanding of oneself and how men are, you ain't never going to make it down the rest of the steps. You ain't never going to make it to nirvana. You ain't never going to make it to this, yourself, your inner soul, your happiness that's required for you to live within this skin out in that world. Now I see the new guys all on fire with the Mgtow, and I understand it. It's like a religion. It's like a theology. It's like reading Plato for the first time. It's like Nietzsche for the first time, or Hobbes, or Foucault. You're all on fire with that. You want to tell the world about it. But the next step is taking that deep look down inside yourself and discover these maladies within yourself that resemble truths to what Mgtows are saying, and stop doing that. I don't believe in feminism, for one thing. I don't believe that there's this group of girls out there that want to destroy me. I believe this gynocentrism in the world. I don't blame it on other people. If I'm blaming things on other people, I'm not looking here. And I'm not looking for my fault and my part. Which part did I play in every event of my life? And that's where I'm going to get truly enlightened. Buddha said it. Jesus said it. Nietzsche said it. Plato said it. Descartes said it. Foucault said it. Hobbes said it. All these guys said it. And they said, hey, Jung said it the best. Look at that Ubermensch inside of yourself. Look at that person. Look at this. He described it with the rat boy. He described it with the Ubermensch. He described it with a lot of things. He described that evil within us when we're put in a corner, and we are put in a corner a lot. How we come out these superhuman men full of rage. And that's when the world looks at us and they say, look, it's a monster. It's a monster. You got to get in touch with that shit. That's what you got to get in touch, because you don't want the world saying you're a monster, because they're going to dehumanize you. You want them to see the beauty inside of you, the things you can do, that you can do. When I say you're a superhuman person, you take all that rage, you take all that garbage, and you funnel it back at the world in a positive way. And you're allowed to say anything you want in Mgtow. You're allowed to say these things, but you got to keep it positive, and you got to keep it positive for one person. It's the reason why I go into stores, why I go into gas stations, and I always thank that person that's behind that desk. Thank you for being here for me today, because I appreciate, even though I might buy a pack of smokes or a lighter or some beef jerky or something for lunch, I'm like, thanks, man. You're doing a great job. That's not for them. That's for me, because I have to live in this world, and there's going to be backlash for me in this world if I'm not in touch with the wonderful person I am, with the human being inside of me, because they punched all those holes in me. I ain't going nowhere. I will never get the support of my brothers. I will never get the support of my family. I will never get the support of any other man in this world. And I like where I'm at now. I like that people respect me. I like that people don't see that old grouchy Joe anymore. That takes years and years sometimes for men to get in touch. But that all starts with one thing. That all starts with step 4, and I'll call it step 4. There are no levels of Mgtow. You just take steps into your masculinity. You were a simp. That's why you came here. You identified there was a problem. You searched for the problem. You took on a philosophy that's bigger than you. Now, step 4 is looking deep down inside of your soul and saying, what part did I play in my destruction? What part did I play in all of this? What part did I play in the way I feel now? And it's my fault. I look at myself. I don't look nowhere else for human beings to fix my problems. I fix my problems. Personal responsibility, but that takes one thing. That takes me looking deep down inside of me and becoming that man. Now, whatever it is after that that you see, whatever it is after that you see and you develop, hey, that's you. I can't change the biological lottery. I can't change all that shit. I have, this is me. I'm comfortable with me. I filled a lot of those holes up right when I did that. I got a spirit about me. I got a philosophy I can live by. I got a lot of things to do. I can put all that in place. And the next step, step 5, is taking that first step forward towards that door. And I'm going to take this out into the world. I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to be more liked by my community. I'm not going to think about, there's no demons or devils out there that are chasing me anymore. I'm not carrying the devil across the swamp on my back anymore. Yeah. Personal philosophy. I'm not carrying the devil on my back anymore. I shedded the devil. I know what I am. And deep down inside, every man's like that. I'm gonna take those risks. I'm gonna put those away. I'm gonna start working on myself. And this all gives me that wonderful ability to work on myself as a Mgtow and take in the philosophy, look around, look at what the men are saying, look at where they're at, try to give some guidance, try to be grateful for what saved my life. Otherwise, I'd be out there doing some awful things right now and not taking care of the one thing that's going to be with me at my death. Me. I'm going to be with me. There ain't no other person in this whole world that's going to be there. And if I come comfortable with that, I'm going to be smiling. I'm going to be smiling because you know what? The one thing in this world, most men and most women and 90% of society are going to be raging out about the time of their death is because the one thing they never knew was themselves. And they lied to their whole lives. They needed this person. They needed this person. They needed this person to fill those voids in their life, that validation we talk about. There's no validation in a Mgtow no more. I validate myself with myself. I'm happy as hell with myself now. But unless you come through these steps up to step 4, which I'll call it, and I'll coin it that, you get a clear understanding of oneself. That puts you on a path of righteousness. It puts you on that path of being a responsible male, a man above reproach. And all those risk factors won't come visit you as long as you're not putting those risk factors in your life. If you're putting those risk factors in your life, go back to the first step. Become a Mgtow all over again. And try to work through that shit and then take responsibility for because if you're putting those risk factors in your life, you're doing it to yourself. And you have only you to blame for it. Step 4 is about a true understanding of Mgtow, where I stop putting those risk factors in my life. And I know this world's a rough place. This is rough and tumble. Things are going to come visit me that I have no idea they're going to come visit me. I live in a world of predatory capitalism every fucking day where I know they want to take everything from me they can. They want to take my heart, my soul, my money, my house, my kids. They want to take the fucking clothes off my back. They want to take this and that and this and that and sell it for themselves. That's the world which I live in. But I ain't inviting them in no more. And I'll take personal responsibility for my faults and my actions, but that's on me. And these new guys that are coming around, we're all on fire with the Mgtow. They're all on fire with the Mgtow. Woo! There's a process that needs to be done. And you can blame it on feminism. You can blame it on these men. You can blame it on simps. You can blame it on the world. You can put up all the videos you want of girls doing horrible things, but that ain't going to help one thing that needs to be helped. And that one thing is you. Stop blaming it on everybody else and see your fault in these things. You brought it into your life. You did it. You can blame it on nature too. You did it because the lizard brain way deep down inside, this little melon up here told you to do it, and you couldn't make that stop. But Mgtow gives you all the tools you need to make that stop. Mgtow gives you every tool on your tool belt you need to make that stop. Take responsibility for yourself. Once you become a Mgtow, nothing else in the world matters. Nobody else can touch you. Feminism doesn't mean a thing. And I'm putting this first step, putting my best foot down there forward, and I'm going to go out there and kick ass in this world. But that only comes through yourself and knowing yourself. And that's why I say you're all supermen. You're all super courageous men. You all believe in this thing. You all have a new philosophy. Take that and turn that on this world and make that your mantra. Make that your battle sword. And stop blaming everybody else. I see these new guys, the first thing they do is they come in after everybody else. Traversable is an idiot. This guy's an idiot. This guy. That's only blaming somebody else for your faults. That's only blaming somebody else. I see the guys going after the girls. I see the guys going after Rose. I see the guys going after. It's blaming somebody else. Take responsibility for yourself. See what's down inside. Don't blame nothing else in this world. It's not that moon. It's not some demon, some dragon. Stop fencing with windmills. It's right here. And that's the only thing you got in this world is yourself. And you only get so much time to work with that. And the biggest waste of space in this world is a man that's not in touch with himself. That's what we give you in Mgtow. That's what we give you. And be grateful. I'm grateful. Today's Boxer Day. I want to say thankful for Boxer Day if you participate in that. And it's all about gratitude. Mgtow is about gratitude, what you give back to the next guy. That's being grateful for this program that saves so many from some awful selves. And it saves them from themselves, not nothing else. It's not going to save you from gynocentrism. It's not going to save you from feminism. It's not going to save you from hypergamy. It saves you from yourself, from taking that stupid step in the simping and the taking risk into your lives. How do you eliminate those risks? Is your own personal business. Whatever you do is your own personal business. It's none of mine, but I'm here to tell you, you're going to find it only in one place, deep down inside of you. And most of it starts right here. Spend your time filling this melon instead of blaming it and trying to figure out. We call women manipulative, but we look around and we see the most manipulative guys trying to manipulate their noggin into somebody else's. Somebody else. It must have been something else. It must have been some invisible demon out there that's working on me. There's no such thing as invisible demons. The only demon you have is right down there, and that's the simp in your lizard brain. And that's a hard truth. And we've been saying that forever. And that's one of the problems here in Mgtow now, that these guys aren't willing to look deep down inside their soul and say, man, I was born with that stuff, but I can shed it. I can get a new skin. And this new skin that I could live in with now, I live in it, and I live in it nice. And that's my message for today. And I know that's a hard message. I know a lot of guys are going to blah, 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 but Traversable, I'm 100% right like always. And that's what these guys got to come up. We got to bring these guys up and develop a program of steps to bring these guys through this right up to the point where they're responsible for their own lives, and they're not blaming demons anymore. And they're moving on and becoming better men. Because if you spend your whole time in here blaming demons and doing feminist videos and everything, all you're doing is fueling the fire. Mgtow is about you. Fill those holes. Take responsibility. Don't be lighting matches and powder kegs, because backlash will come. And I had to learn all those lessons myself in life. And you become a happier, healthier, more equally balanced person in this world that people like to be around. People like me around here. If you met me in real life, you go, that's a swell dude. I don't know. There's something different about him. There's something Mgtow-y about him. He don't invite chaos in his life. And I don't invite chaos in my life. And some people hate that and some people love that, but that works out great for me. But hey, reach deep down inside your soul, man, because that's what's important. Nobody else matters. You got to work on yourself. That's step 4. Find a clear understanding of oneself. Do them introspections. I think you'd be surprised how easy it is to forgive yourselves. I'm Joe. I'm the Mgtow monk. Go your own way. Go your own way. All your simp sins are forgiven. Start working on yourself again today. Take a look down in there. Fill it with something, some philosophy, some Mgtow philosophy that works in this world. You can find different philosophies all over the place. And you need to have something to hinge on when things are bad, or else the Ubermensch will come out. And nobody likes that guy. Hey, thanks a lot, Mgtows. Thanks a lot for coming around. Thanks a lot for listening to a never-ending Joe's Traversable series on the never-ending Traversable series on Mgtow. I ain't fencing with dragons anymore. It's about me, and I like myself. I can live in this skin. Can you? I'll tell you, teach you how. I'll teach you some Mgtow. But man, you got to take that step. Every one of these guys around, and when you see it, you got to identify it and say, no, man, it's not the Libby's fault. It's not the Republicans' fault. It's not the feminists' fault. It's not all these people you draw up. Them are just people out there trying to make it in this world. It's your fault. Look down deep within you, and you'll blame it on a lot of people. They'll blame it on everybody else but themselves. And that's the most horrible thing in the whole world to look at. Hey, man, all your simp sins are forgiven. Put those things behind you. Put those things behind you and move forward. Step 5. I'm out to beat ass on this world because I got to, because I'm a man and I can. And I'm the apex predator on this planet. Get in touch with that. You become that Superman. You become that superhero to people around you. And some of these guys, if you ain't been beat up too much, you got a chance to become the new billionaires. You got a chance to become the new leaders of our society. I was too old to get that chance. I'd beat myself up too long, but I think about it every day. I wish I was one of you 22, 23-year-old cats. And I had this Mgtow, and I understood it was about myself. I would take that and become the governor of Ohio. I'd become the president of the United States. I'd become a new billionaire. And that's what you can do. And you can change things then. With your Mgtow philosophy, you get a chance to change these things. Don't become old. Don't become me. Become you. And it ain't nobody else's fault but yourselves if you don't. And that's all I want to say today. And like always, thanks a lot for coming around. Thanks a lot for each and every one of you, because without each and every one of you guys, this thing wouldn't exist. We are a collective of Mgtow that are going to bring in a new enlightenment to this world. Yeah, we are. And thanks a lot for being Mgtow. Mgtow.